this week for the Thunderbirds. That's sports.
It does the intros now. Good morning and welcome to Wired Wednesday. I'm your host, McKenna Hansen. What is really exciting is we get snow again. I'm pretty sure this is the 4th Wednesday in a row that my show, we have been snowing on the Wednesdays of this show. I love the moisture. I can't help it.
Okay, knock it off.
At least I didn't wear my snowflake earrings. I usually wear my snowflake earrings.
I said this yesterday and I'm going to say it again today because I'm proud of the statement. You people still praying for snow are like the people in their cars by themselves still wearing a mask. And you don't need it.
Well, there's hope for, a little bit, right? So what's really exciting is I get to pick on the Iron County Commissioners on my radio show. And luckily, Mike Bleak drew the short straw this go around. And I have the commissioners on quarterly for a very specific purpose. And it's making sure that Iron County is informed about all of the commissioners' dealings, what's going on with them, and kind of what that position holds. Because one, they're elected officials, right? They are reinforced backed by popular demand, kind of making sure people show up and vote, right? The other thing is that we forget what they actually do and accomplish. And so it's really important that we...
Now, see, if I was snarky, I'd say, do they do anything?
Right, exactly. No. A lot of people are like, wait, I voted this person in, and what do they do, right?
We have a meeting every other Monday.
Right, exactly.
That's it.
All right, we got that card. All right,
where Mike drew the short stick, and this is your second round of being elected, right?
Well, third. Second and a half.
Second and a half.
I came in midterm with a
Vacancy.
vacated seat, so but that was at election time. I actually had to run, so I campaigned for that seat. Then I was reelected for my first full term, which just ended. I've just been reelected for my full second term.
Okay.
So it'll be 2.5 at the end of this one.
Which means a total of 6 years.
10
years.
At the end of this. So a little 6 years now.
Okay, thank you.
6 now.
Are you crazy? Can I ask you that question?
Oh, yeah. That's been established a long time ago.
Hey, can we skip right to it? Because I actually have some questions for the Commissioner.
You do?
I do.
Well, okay, so one, I want to point out, so Mike's in charge of the Iron County Jail.
Right, and that's what I want to talk about.
Right, and we're going to talk about that in very robust detail today.
Well, let's get to it.
So I'm really excited.
Well, let's get to it.
But two, I want to make sure that people know up front how many people showed up. So everybody was in such a frenzy.
Tizzy.
Right, a
Tizzy.
year ago, a tizzy. Has it been a year since we last had you on?
I don't, maybe.
Your phone's going up.
Oh, make it quit.
Or a year and a half ago.
Well, no. So we actually last Thursday night we had a big public meeting scheduled at the Great Hall at Southern Utah University, at which we had an identical meeting. As we got looking back, 364 days from that meeting. We were only 1 day off from the year anniversary.
And so
it's been really since we started the public process. It's been a year.
So when the public process initiated, right?
Uh-huh.
Everybody was in a frenzy. Everybody was angry. Everybody was like, "How dare you do this?" Right?
Yeah.
It was incredible the amount of energy everybody was spending on "How dare you do this?" Right?
Yes.
And now a year later, did anybody know that the location got approved?
Yeah. We've been very public about.
How many public people are showing up to your meetings?
There's some people from the public, but the difference is we've had in public meetings we've had no negative comments.
No negative in a 12-month period. No negative.
Well,
comments.
not in a 12-month period, but since we voted on and chose a location and are moving forward on that location.
No negative comments.
No negative comments so far, but we've had lots of positive comments. I mean, it's not like people have just ignored the issue.
No, right.
We've had and I get that's probably not exactly fair to say. We have had a few email concerns and nothing,
which is to be expected.
Nothing super negative.
I want to jump in here because let me just put this point blank. Where the hell is it going to go? I mean,
right? No, that's what I'm getting to.
Okay.
And really, this is the cherry on the sundae, because everybody was so upset and negative comments a year ago, right? The location got voted on, it got approved. They've held 3 public meetings for people to come in and publicly vote or publicly comment and do all these things in the last 30 days, and no negative comments.
So where is it going? Is it going to where it was?
So the best way that I am terrible at describing this location, but it's off of Airport Road, behind. I guess the easiest, maybe the easiest way to describe it is kind of behind Horse Alley.
Okay.
To the north and west of Horse Alley, the access will actually be through the industrial park, down just behind the IFA fertilizer facility. It's the property. It'd be just southeast, in that big empty property. There's railroad tracks that abut up to the west side. There's some industrial businesses on the east side, and then Airport Road.
So it is confined in an industrial park in the middle of town, basically, now.
I still wanted it just to irritate my neighbors up there because they're crazy, but that's all right.
Well, but what's interesting is this location, for all of the business owners that will be affected by, I'm going to say, the traffic. Not that it's a huge thing. We're not Las Vegas PD, right? Just because they have a lot of troopers,
Yeah, absolutely.
But we're not. I mean, but nobody has had negative comments about this whole thing, because it seems like it's the best location.
I think
it
so.
It satisfies all the boxes.
It really does. And I want to, out of a lot of the negative comments and a lot of the pushback that happened last year, I think that was actually a good thing in a lot of instances, because it's been interesting. We've looked at several sites really seriously, and it seems like every time we find a site and it's, this looks like it's going to be a good site, and there's pushback for whatever reason, and I'm going to say for valid reasons, there's been pushback, and that seems to open the doors on another site. And so we've moved to another site, and we've looked, received pushback on that site, which is valid, has some valid pushback, but every time that's happened, another site has opened up that wasn't available before. So this site that we've settled on now wasn't available even a year ago.
Right.
Through all of this process, and so it's really, I'm this
so
time.
You're telling me that the country song has come true.
Which one?
What, where the dog died, or what?
When another door closes, another door opens.
Absolutely. Yes.
There's way too much sunshine in this room.
But I think it's been a great process, and it's been something that we have taken extremely serious. So there's been a year there's been a year gap in this process.
Can I still laugh when there's still no commercial development on the north side in 10 years?
You have a First Amendment right to express yourself, however.
I can be rainbows and sunshine all day long.
That'd be tiring, but sure.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad that there's been progress on the jail, because really, all of the sites and all of the things that are coming to fruition, people don't talk about enough. They don't talk about the progress. And
no, and really, I mean, so it's been a year between meetings, right? But in that year, there's rarely been a day that we haven't worked on this issue or discussed this issue. I mean, we have met, I can't tell you how many hundreds and hundreds of hours we have into this project in that gap. This wasn't we kind of went by the wayside and then, oh, hey, we have another opportunity. This has been really hard work on the part of lots of people that have gotten us to this point.
Do you still have hurdles across? I mean, are there planning commission meetings, city meetings that have to approve the property, or has that all been taken care of?
So interestingly enough, this island of property is actually unincorporated Iron County.
Oh, wow.
So we don't, the only thing we need to rely on the city for is water and sewer. We'll have agreements in place. And that's not the only thing. I mean, we're working with the city. We work with the city on lots of things, especially especially on this this project, the Cedar City Police Department, really all the police departments in Iron County have been involved in this process.
Now, the sheriff at one time expressed concern that it would be a little, at some of the locations outside of the one that they had looked at on the north side, would be a little too far for like Beaver and other areas to come to. Have those issues been resolved?
Yes. Everybody, all of the law enforcement agencies in Iron County. You've got the Iron County Sheriff's Office, you have the Cedar City Police Department, excuse me, you have SU Police Department, you have Parowan Police Department, you have Enoch Police Department, and Bryan at Public Safety. All of those entities have been involved in this discussion, and all of them have bought off, had input into this whole process.
I'm going to go back one step further even. You don't have to talk to me because I've said this on the air, but for those that might be listening today are saying, why do we need the facility? Make the case for that.
So we have the oldest current facility in the state of Utah. In fact, there's other jurisdictions who have built 2 jails since we've built this one. We are literally turning away inmates. And when I say turning away inmates, I'm talking local people that need to be arrested, need to be incarcerated, that we flat don't have room for. There's a lot of times that we can't accept warrants, domestic violence, drug, things like that. We just flat don't have room for them. Our current jail, I believe, was designed to house 8 female prisoners. We currently have 40. The gymnasium has been converted into a bunkhouse, basically. If there's a spare floor, there's a mattress on it somewhere, at times. Literally, when we have to fix things in our HVAC system and other systems there, a lot of times we have to find the parts on eBay. Literally. I mean, that's
wow.
Not even a joke. Our maintenance supervisor, Mike Gibbs, is a hero for keeping that place in one piece and functioning safely. Not to say, our jail's falling apart, but I'm going to give a ton of credit to our correctional staff and our maintenance staff. It's safe, but it's just way overdue for a new facility.
Some people have expressed concerns. You don't mind asking a question?
I don't mind.
Some people have expressed concerns that we get inmates that are brought to us from other areas,
absolutely,
and federal inmates, and that they end up being released into the community. How do we address those concerns?
Let's split them up into state and federal because they're 2 completely different animals. We contract, and right now, I think we have 9 state inmates. But in order to qualify to leave the prison and go to somewhere else, generally the reason that they go to another facility is for the programming in that facility, and an inmate has to earn the right to come to our facility. We get paid. Right now we get paid. It's right around $64, $67 a day per inmate from the state, which goes towards our operating costs. But those inmates are never released in our community.
That's what I was thinking.
And they're here temporarily. They've been convicted of whatever. They've been sent to the Utah State Prison before they're ever released or anything else. They'll go back to the Utah State Prison. It's not anybody that's released in our own community. The only inmates that are ever released in our own community are our own citizens. And it's important to understand the difference between a jail and a prison. A county jail is we house inmates under a year. Their sentence, if their sentence is any more than 365 days, they go to prison. And the vast majority of our local inmates aren't in there for that long. They're released here because this is their home. They have every right to be here. Now, the federal inmate side is a little bit different. Our federal inmates, and I'm not exactly sure how many we have at this point, so they have been convicted of a crime, but not yet sentenced.
That's what I was thinking. That they were only here while they were waiting to...
They're here a max around 90 days. They've been convicted. This is a holding pattern. Once they're sentenced, they're sentenced and transported to a federal prison.
That's what I was thinking.
So this is really just a holding area. We don't have issues with, we never release federal inmates here. And we really don't have families or anybody, moving to town to be near their inmate because they're here for sometimes 30 days, sometimes 90 days, but that process moves fairly quickly. And once they are sentenced, they're out of our facility within a week, or just a very short period of time. Once that sentencing occurs, they're gone.
How big is this facility going to be?
Oh gosh, we're looking at I can't remember bed numbers.
It's more than the 45 female inmates that we currently have, though.
Yes, we will have.
Okay.
We will have ample room. We'll have ample room for our own needs, and we're building this jail, this complex for the future. This should take care of our needs for 30 years, and then it's expandable at that point.
The design
is expandable. What our hope is to be able to safely house all of our inmates. There's different segregation issues. There's safety issues. This group of people can't be with this group of people, and so you've got to keep them spread out. But we're also looking at including a really robust medical facility, programming that covers vocational things, mental health, those type of things. So, and what that does when we include that programming gives us the opportunity to bring in potentially more state inmates, which they have to earn the right to be here. And we have a policy, it's a one-strike policy. If you get here and cause trouble, you're gone the next day. But what that does, so if we have a robust programming, like I said before, we're about $64, $67 a day per inmate. If with that robust programming, that fee from the state to us rises to over $80 a day per inmate. Now, what that does is offset the cost. This jail can pay for itself. We're not, it becomes self-sufficient at that point, so that it's kind of a neutral.
It's not a hindrance to the
It's not the aquatic center.
Hey now, my kids use the pool. Speaking of, we are doing a Utah Farm Bureau Federation pool party on April 1st. So sorry,
I did.
squirrel.
That was a cheap shot, but I had to take you because it was just sitting
Oh
right
my
out there.
goodness,
Yeah.
There's so many things that we could go into, Dr. T.
But this, and when I say that we've been working on this process for a year, these are the type of details that we've been working on. What is the optimum size, so that we're not overbuilding, we're not, this isn't anything grand and awesome. There's not going to be marble floors or anything crazy like that. But we're really trying to build it to optimize our housing to cover our needs, first of all, as Iron County into the foreseeable future, as well as figure out a way to pay for it on the back
Through the
end
new contract.
through the new contract.
This will be a weird question, and it's only because of what I did when I was at the jail and I had a part of a ministry there. Will there be chapel facilities and things of that nature for that? Because I've seen some actually miraculous things happen.
Absolutely. In fact, we had a long meeting yesterday with our architect and build team, and absolutely, we have a chapel in those plans now, and we don't. Those plans are super fluid at this point. We're not completely designed, but absolutely, chapel space is a dedicated space inside the facility.
Mike, I love you coming on and giving us such robust updates about the Iron County Jail, really, because it's keeping people informed, and that's the whole purpose of Wired Wednesday, is educating the public and making sure that they know what options and what things are going on in their community, so they can ask questions or they can vote the right way or the wrong way or the whatevers, but at least they're informed. So the Iron County Jail location is going to be down on Industrial Park across the street from IFA for right now, and the location and things are progressing and moving forward.
Yep.
For any questions that you guys may have, please reach out to the commissioners. You have Marilyn Wood, Paul Cousins, and of course Mike Bleak, who is joining us on the radio today.
Do you have a groundbreaking plan, or we're not there yet?
We're not there yet.
Okay.
But if you go to ironcounty.net, is the county's website, there's a tab that says public notices. At this point, I believe there are diagrams on there that kind of show what we're doing. Moving forward, and I talked with our clerk this morning about this. I think what we're going to do is put a kind of a banner on our county website to click for updated jail information.
Is it out to bid yet?
Oh yeah, it's bid. We completed that bid process within the last year. Layton Construction is our contractor. Babcock and Associates is our architect, and we've been working hand in hand with them for a year.
Do you have special facilities for incarcerated radio people? Because I have the feeling I may need one.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe you could come and teach. Maybe that could be part of the vocational training, the Dr. T wing of
Right,
broadcasting.
Or a ham radio class. Isn't it a ham radio? Like the amateur radio club?
We'd be happy to do that. When I say we, of course, I mean the rest of the club. I don't know.
Right.
But, it's... This is what people ask me what I'm thankful for, and two things are at the top of the list, and people look at me like this. One is that I got to go to a prison ministry, which was exceptional, and then cancer. They go, "We're thankful for this thing." Yeah, as a matter of fact, I have been.
It's incredible the things that come into our lives that open our eyes the widest.
It really,
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Mike, for coming and joining us. I'm sorry you drove the short straw. I hope that it was beneficial for you.
No, I actually enjoy this. It's not the short straw. Thank you.
Thank you. This has been McKinnon Hansen, your local Farm Bureau financial agent, serving your real estate and insurance needs. 435-592-2021. Thanks again for joining Wired Wednesday.
And one last time, we're going to get a check of what might be happening on the highways. Captain Craig, what are you seeing out there?
Yeah, I'm excited about this. Looks good.
Pretty great.